Welcome to the AI Campa show, AppDecoded, where we focus on apps and software. Enjoy this episode, like and subscribe. Thank you.
You know that feeling, right? You record the perfect take, the content is golden. But when you listen back, the audio is just a mess. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We're going to dive into how you can get truly professional-sounding voice audio. And the best part, we're going to do it without spending a single cent. So, does this sound familiar? You've got your recording, the delivery was spot on, but the playback is just disappointing. You can hear this low background hum, your voice goes up and down in volume, and the whole thing just feels too quiet. It is one of the most common and frustrating problems for creators everywhere. Okay, let's really dig into what's holding your audio back. We're talking about that deep rumble you get from an air conditioner, or that constant annoying hiss from your microphone's electronics. And of course, those volume jumps that make anyone listening have to constantly fiddle with their volume knob. These little things can absolutely ruin what would otherwise be a fantastic recording. But here is the really good news. You do not need some fancy, expensive studio or a pricey subscription service to get this sorted. Nope. We're about to walk through a process that can solve all these problems in less time than it takes to brew a cup of coffee. Seriously. So, what is this magical, free tool I'm talking about? Well, let me introduce you to Audacity. For years, this thing has been the absolute workhorse for creators who need powerful audio editing but don't have a big budget. For our purposes today, it's pretty much the hero of the story. Now, don't let that word free fool you into thinking it's basic. Audacity is not just some simple little audio trimmer. It is a full-blown audio editor that works on Windows, Mac, Linux, you name it, and it's packed with professional-grade tools. And yes, it costs absolutely nothing. You might be sitting there wondering, okay, but is this actually for me? Well, listen, if you're creating any kind of content, if you're a podcaster cleaning up an interview, a YouTuber laying down a voiceover, heck, even a student working on a class project, this is your tool. It's pretty much designed for anyone who needs pro results without a massive learning curve. So how do we actually do this? Let's get right into the nitty-gritty, the step-by-step process that's going to transform your audio. It's a really simple chain of effects that takes your raw recording from messy and amateur to clean and professional. It all kicks off with a simple trim, just to get rid of any mistakes or long pauses. Easy enough. Then, we use what's called a high-pass filter. Think of it like a surgical tool that just slices away all that low-frequency junk you can't really hear, but you can kind of feel. Next up is noise reduction, which is super clever. It finds that constant background hiss and just pulls it out. After that, we use a compressor and a limiter. These two work together to smooth out the volume, so you're not too quiet in one part and too loud in another. And finally, we normalize the whole track to a standard loudness, so it sounds perfect whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else. And the end result? It's a total transformation. It is night and day. You go from that raw, flawed recording to a final product with a crisp, clear voice, a really clean tone, and a totally stable, consistent volume. The difference is just wow. Okay, a quick but really important warning here. When you're using that noise reduction tool, it is so tempting to just crank it all the way up to get rid of every last bit of hiss, but don't do it. If you go too far, you can create this weird, watery, warbly sound in the voice. The real key is to be subtle, and always listen back on a good pair of headphones to make sure the voice still sounds human and natural. Now, that 5-step process we just went through is super powerful, right? But doing it by hand for every single recording can get old fast. This is where we can take things to the next level and make this whole cleanup process happen with just a single click. This is where we unleash Audacity's secret weapon, macros. A macro is really just a saved recipe of our cleanup steps. You set it up one time, and from that moment on, you can apply that entire 5-step chain to any audio file you want, instantly. So why even bother setting this up? Well, it all boils down to two huge things: speed and consistency. When you use a macro, every single piece of audio you create has the same professional, polished sound. It saves you literally hours of boring, repetitive work, and that's time you get back in your day, immediately. So, we've seen what Audacity can do, and we know it's free. But how does it really stack up when you put it next to the paid competition? Let's take a look at the final verdict. Of course, there are some amazing paid tools out there. Things like Adobe Audition or Hindenburg have really deep feature sets and specialized workflows for pros.
But Audacity holds its own in a really unique spot. It gives you all the core tools you need for fast, effective editing, and that amazing batch processing. And it's all completely free.
So, here's the bottom line. You should absolutely 100% use Audacity if your main goal is to get clean, professional-sounding dialogue without being locked into a subscription. Now, if your projects are more about complex music production with a lot of virtual instruments and things like that, you might want to look at a more full-featured digital audio workstation.
So our final score for Audacity is a super strong 4.2 out of 5. And it really earns that score because it just delivers perfectly on its core promise. It gives you the essential tools, that powerful automation, and even a spectral view for super precise fixes, all without asking for a dime. It's really an indispensable tool for any modern creator. And that kind of brings us to our final thought. Now that you have the tools and you know the technique, think about your own projects. What's that one piece of audio you've been avoiding because it's just too noisy or too uneven? Go find it, open it up in Audacity, and see this incredible transformation for yourself.